There is a moment I want you to imagine before I tell you anything else. You are sitting somewhere ordinary. Your kitchen table, the sofa, a chair by the window with a cup of something going cold next to you. Nothing special about the day at all, and your phone buzzes. You pick it up expecting nothing. A message, a reminder, something you have to deal with. But it is not that. Somebody bought something from you. Someone you have never met. Someone in a country you may never visit. They were searching for something. They found the thing you made, they read your title, they looked at your cover, and they decided it was worth their money. And they paid you. Not for your time. Not for an hour of your life. Not for turning up somewhere and being useful to somebody else for a while. They paid you for something you made once, put up, and then walked away from. You did not do anything today to make that happen. You made it weeks ago. It has been sitting there working the whole time. Now sit with that feeling for a second. Because that feeling is the whole reason you are watching this video. It is not really about the money. Not at the start anyway. It is about what the money means. It means you were right. It means that thing you have been quietly thinking about for months, maybe years. The thing you never quite said out loud because it sounded silly. The thing that goes, I think I could actually make something people would pay for. You were right about that. And now you have proof sitting in your hand in the form of a notification. That first one changes something in you. Everyone who has had it tells you the same thing. It is not the amount. It is the fact that it happened at all. Because the day before you were someone with an idea. And now you are someone with a product. And once you know you can do it once, the whole thing opens up. Because there's no rule that says you only get to do it once. Now let me be honest with you. I could have opened this video the way everybody else opens these videos. Big screenshots, charts going up, bank balances with the numbers half blurred out, stories that sound just a little too clean to be true. You have seen that video probably more times than you can count. And I would guess that somewhere along the way you bought one of them and it did not work and you felt stupid about it afterwards. Most people have. I have. So I am not going to do that to you. Instead, I am going to talk about something you already know is true because you have seen it with your own eyes. You have seen the books on Amazon, simple ones, journals, planners, workbooks, guides, low content books, activity books, puzzle books, nothing fancy, nothing that required a publishing deal or a literary agent or talent you do not have. You have seen the printables on Etsy, trackers, templates, checklists, wall art, party sets, teaching resources, digital files, no shipping, no stock. Someone buys, downloads, done. And every single time you have seen one, the same thought has gone through your head. I could make that. Not in a bitter way, not in a this is rubbish way, in a quiet, honest, slightly frustrated way. Because you looked at it and you knew it was within reach. You knew you were not missing the talent for it. So why hasn't it happened yet? That is the real question. And I want to answer it properly because the answer is not the one you have been telling yourself. Hi, my name is Mohit. I am a digital product creator, and everything I'm going to share with you today is about one thing. Getting the idea that is already in your head out into the world in a form somebody can buy. No camera, no team, no design background, no publishing experience, no audience you have to spend a year building before anyone will look at you. And before I go any further, let me tell you what this has nothing to do with. This is not drop shipping. It is not crypto. It is not Amazon FBA. It is not surveys or clicking ads or spamming affiliate links into groups where nobody wanted them. There is no stock. Nothing to buy up front. Nothing to store in your house. Nothing to post. No angry customer emailing you about a package that never turned up. You make a file. You put it where buyers already are. That is it. And those buyers are already there. That is the part people forget. You are not creating demand out of nothing. Every single day, enormous numbers of people are on Amazon and Etsy with their card already out, actively searching for exactly this kind of thing. They are not waiting to be convinced. They are waiting to be given the thing they came for. So the opportunity is not the question. The opportunity is obvious. The question is why you personally have not taken it yet. Here it is. It is not because you lack ideas. Be honest with yourself. You have had plenty of ideas. You have probably had a good one this week. It is not because you are lazy. Lazy people do not sit through videos like this one. Lazy people are not still awake thinking about building something. You have put in more effort on this than you give yourself credit for. It is not because you are not clever enough. The people doing this are not geniuses. You would not look at them twice in the queue. It is because every time you actually sat down to build one, the thing fell apart. In your hands. You know exactly what I mean. You start excited. You have got the idea. You can picture it. You open up AI and you explain it. And the first answer that comes back is brilliant. Genuinely brilliant. You feel a little rush. Then you ask for the title, and that is good too, but it is aimed at a slightly different person than the one you had in mind. Then you ask about the inside, and now you are getting content that belongs to a third version of the product. Then you ask about the cover, and the cover is promising something you never planned to deliver. And none of the answers are bad. That is what makes it so maddening. Every single answer looks good on its own. It is only when you put them next to each other that you realize none of them belong to the same product. So you go back and explain the whole thing again, longer this time, more detail. You paste in what you decided before. You open another document to keep track. You start a new chat because the old one got confusing. And a week later, you have 30 tabs, 4 half-finished directions, a folder of prompts you saved and never used, and no product. And then the worst part happens. The doubt arrives. Maybe the idea was not that good. Maybe I picked the wrong one. Maybe I need to learn more about this first. Maybe I should look for a better prompt. So you go looking. You find another prompt pack, hundreds of prompts, hundreds of new places to begin. But your problem was never a shortage of beginnings. You've started plenty of times. Your problem is that nothing you start survives long enough to become finished. And that is the thing I want you to really hear today, because I think it will take a weight off you. That is not a you problem. You were handed a tool that has no memory. Every time you open a fresh chat, it does not know who your buyer is. It does not know why you chose this idea. It does not know the promise you already made. It does not know what you decided yesterday, and it does not care. So it guesses, and every guess drags your product somewhere slightly different. And you, sitting there in the middle of it, are somehow supposed to be the product strategist, the publishing expert, the designer, and the memory system all at once, holding the whole thing together in your head. Nobody can do that. Nobody. And the fact that you could not is not a reflection on you. You were not failing. You were doing an impossible job with the wrong setup. Now, let me tell you where I was before I worked this out. I had ideas constantly. I could tell you exactly why each one was good and exactly who might want it. And then I would sit down to build one, and within a fortnight, I had a folder of fragments and nothing I could show anyone. I would look at the whole mountain of it. The research, the writing, the design, the formatting, the listing, the rules, the tech. And I would quietly close the laptop and think, not today. Too complicated. Too much to figure out on my own. So I stayed exactly where I was, and I kept watching other people put things out. People I knew for a fact were no more capable than me. People with the same hours in the day that I had. And I kept asking myself the same question over and over. What do they know that I do not? That question ate at me for a long time. Longer than I want to admit. I went looking for the answer. Not a shortcut. A smarter way. I spent months testing and failing and starting again. I paid for tools that were supposed to solve this and made it worse. I collected prompt packs the way other people collect books they never read. I tried writing one enormous master prompt that would hold everything, and it worked for about a day. But I kept going because I knew that if ordinary people were genuinely earning from products they made themselves, there had to be a repeatable way to do it. Something that did not need a design degree or a publishing background or a year of building an audience first. And eventually I stopped looking for it and built it. What I finally understood was this: the answers were never the problem. The answers were fine. What was missing was that nothing remembered. Nothing carried the buyer forward. Nothing carried the promise forward. Nothing carried the decisions you had already made and were happy with forward into the next step. So I built something that does. That is Paper Kingdom. You tell it what you want to make and who you think would want it in completely ordinary language. The way you would explain it to a friend across a table. No jargon, no publishing vocabulary. You do not have to sound like an expert because you are not one yet, and that is fine. From that point on, the project holds on to it. The buyer, the purpose, where it is going to be sold, the direction you chose, every decision you approved, and when you move to the next step, it starts from there. Not from nothing, not from a blank box waiting for you to explain your whole business again. You get told what the next useful thing to do is, not 100 options. The next one, you do that one thing, you look at what comes back. You keep what makes the product stronger and you throw away what pulls it somewhere else. And then you move on. Nothing gets applied behind your back. It suggests, you decide, your judgment stays at the middle of the whole thing, which is exactly where it should be, because it is your product and your name on it. And here's what that actually feels like, which is the part that matters. You sit down to work on it, and you do not spend the first stretch of your session trying to remember what you decided. It is all there. Same person you were building for, same promise, same direction. The thing that excited you at the start is still recognizable. It has not wandered off into something else while you were not looking. You do one clear piece of work and you can see that it moved the product forward, not sideways, forward. And then you close the laptop knowing that tomorrow you will pick up where you actually left off instead of starting the whole climb again. That is the difference between an idea you eventually abandon and a product you finish. And finished is everything. Finished is where all of this lies. Because an unfinished idea earns nothing. It does not matter how good it was. It does not matter that you were right about it. Sitting in a folder, it is worth exactly the same as never having had it. Finished is what gets seen. Finished is what gets bought. Finished is what makes your phone buzz on an ordinary afternoon. Now let me talk about what happens after that first one, because the first sale is emotional. The second one is different. The second one is information. It tells you the first was not a fluke. And by the third or fourth, something has genuinely shifted in how you see yourself. You are not someone hoping to do this. You are someone who does this. And every product you add is another thing sitting out there working, whether or not you did anything today. That is what compounds, not one big lucky break. A stack of small finished things, each one quietly doing its job. And here's what that can turn into. Breathing room at the end of the month, instead of doing that same arithmetic you have been doing for years. Paying off the thing that has been sitting on your chest. Saying yes to something without first working out whether you are allowed to. Booking the trip without the guilt attached to it. Sitting with the people who matter to you and actually being there, instead of being physically present while your mind is somewhere else calculating. That is what this is really about. It is not a stream of income. It is the difference between a life you are managing and a life you are actually living. And you can do it from your kitchen, from a cafe, from a chair in the corner of a room where nobody is bothering you. All you need is a laptop and a connection. Where you are does not matter. What time you do it does not matter. Whether you have a full day or an hour after everyone else is gone quiet does not matter. What matters is having a process that does not fall apart in the middle. That is the only thing that has been missing. Now, who is this actually for? It is for the person who has been circling this for months, who saved the listings, screenshotted the ideas, opened the tab 100 times, and closed it again. It is for the complete beginner, genuinely. If you have never published anything, never designed anything, never sold anything online in your life, that is exactly who this was built for. You are not behind. You are just starting, which is where everybody starts. It is for the person who has AI open every day and still cannot get an idea across the line. And I should tell you who it is not for, because I would rather you did not buy it than buy it and be disappointed. It is not for someone who wants a button that produces a finished product while they watch. That does not exist, and anyone telling you it does is lying to you. You will still be making decisions. You will still be doing work. This makes the work possible and clear. It does not make it disappear. It is also not for someone who wants to be sold a fantasy. If you want screenshots and promises, there are plenty of other videos. I would rather you had the real thing. So, what does it cost? Fair question, and I will get to it, but let me frame it properly first. A working, repeatable way to produce sellable digital products is not a small thing. Coaching at this level costs the kind of money that most beginners will never be able to justify. And honestly, most beginners do not need coaching. They need a path. That is who I built this for. The person who has the idea and the drive and has never had the system. And I refuse to let price be the reason someone like that stays exactly where they are. So I am putting Paper Kingdom out at the lowest price it will ever be offered at. One payment. Nothing recurring quietly draining out of your account in the background. No required upgrade to make the core thing work. Nothing hidden behind another door. And the price climbs as more people come in. That is not a pressure tactic. That is just how this launch is built. If you come back later and it looks different, now you know why. Get in now. And I am also including the full bonus deck at no extra cost. The launch blueprint, so you know the exact order things happen in and what to do before you upload. The cover design kit, so you never sit staring at an empty canvas wondering where to start. The niche research workbook, so you can compare ideas properly instead of picking one and hoping. The description swipe file so your listing reads like it was written by someone who knows what they are doing. And the mock-up and promotion pack, so the thing you made looks like a real product when people see it. Every one of those exists to take away one more reason to stall. And then there's the guarantee. If you go through this and genuinely feel it did not deliver for you, email my support desk within the guarantee period on this page and I will refund every penny. No questions, no awkward back and forth, no hoops to jump through, no forms designed to make you give up. I can offer that because I know what happens when someone actually uses this properly. Which means the risk here is not really the money. The risk is what happens if you close this page. Because you know exactly what that looks like. You have done it before. You go back to the tabs. You go back to the folder. And in a few months you are sitting somewhere, watching somebody else's simple little product doing well, thinking the exact same thought you thought today. I could have made that. And you could have. That is what makes it sting. Here is the last thing I want to say to you. You have probably told yourself you will get serious about this soon, when things settle down, when you have more time, when you feel more ready, but you already know what soon turns into. Another saved note, another folder, another idea that no buyer ever gets to see. Ready is not a real thing. Nobody who has done this felt ready. They just started badly and got better and finished something. That is the whole secret, and it is not much of a secret. The choice in front of you is not between guaranteed success and guaranteed failure. It is between doing the exact same thing you have been doing, which you already know the ending to, and giving yourself an actual way through. This is Paper Kingdom. A clear path from the idea in your head to a product you can put in front of buyers. No design skills, no publishing experience, no big budget, no more months of collecting prompts that go nowhere. Click the button below, get access, open it up, tell it what you want to make, and let me show you what it feels like to finally finish something. Then go and check your phone. I will see you on the inside.